Real estate team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner II, team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. So every Wednesday we jump on and go over what's gone on in the real estate market in the Omaha metro area. But we always like to do a quick tip. So my quick tip this week is talking about functional square footage. So a lot of times when I'm working with my clients, buyers, sellers in that manner, when you're walking through houses and looking at what areas of that house are you going to use, majority of the time. I've had some clients sometimes that they're worried about the formal dining room and things of that sort. And sometimes I ask them, well, how often do you use the formal dining room? Well, just during the holidays, so maybe once, twice a year. Well, in my mind, when we talk about it, it's like, why are you, making a $500,000, $300,000 decision on a room that you're only going to use 1, 2, 3 times a year? So, but if you're a family that has, monthly brunches, Sunday brunches, family brunches, things of that sort, that you use those, then great. And then we talk about different floor plans, difference between a split level and a tri-level and the functionality of that floor plan and then the square footage that you're going to be using in that house. And, does it make sense to pay, for the tri-level price when you're getting kind of the same functional square footage, in a split level? So that's more I can go into, but you want to keep it short. So think about that when you're looking at houses, is what functional areas of the house are you going to use the most? Sometimes people are like, well, I want a large master bedroom. Well, that's great, but how often are you in there? Do you just go in there to go to sleep? Or do you want to chase lounge? You want to have a place to read? You want to have a TV in there, those type of things? And yeah, then maybe having a little larger master bedroom makes more sense. But if you're just going in there and as long as your dressers and bed fits in there and you're sleeping in there, it doesn't really matter how large it is, because if it's larger there, you may be taking away square footage from like the living room area, because I know like ranches and story and a half that, they're sometimes that same wall that they're sharing that living room wall. So if it's bigger in the bedroom, maybe it's going to be a little, smaller area out in the living area. So those are just kind of trade-offs that you got to think about when you're looking at buying a house, or even when you're selling a house, how to market that functional square footage and that usable square footage. And then we also talk about visual square footage. There's different types of, square footage is all the same, but there's different ways you can maneuver and utilize that square footage. So that's kind of our quick tip here for today. So if you have any questions on that, happy to help you. Just little tips that we do when we're working with our buyers and our sellers. So let's jump into what's going on in the real estate market. So obviously last week, data was a little bit skewed just from the holiday season. So we're up now we got 426 new listings going live over this last week, 310 pending contracts, so contracts that were written, went under contract over the last week, and 382 happy new homeowners over the last week. So congratulations to them. So perspective, last week we had 310 or 209, so we're up 100 new contracts written. So what we're seeing is that the drop in interest rates is bringing a lot of those buyers, some of those buyers are on the fence, back out into the marketplace. So it's kind of happening at that kind of, holiday season time where a lot of buyers sometimes take a little bit of a breather. Well, let's start in the first half of the year, when we see more houses come on the market, but our serious buyers that are ready to chomping at the bit, just got out of our mastermind. Our monthly mastermind meeting was today between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. So that's why I'm a little bit late here, but I just want to get the up-to-date data that we talked about in there. Certain areas of town, certain market segments, we're seeing that activity pick up out there. So which is great for buyers, sellers. So if you're kind of been on the sidelines a little bit, interest rates, I think right now are just below 7%. We were talking to mastermind. Someone got a rate at 6.75 recently. So those rates are down below 7, which we're going to start seeing. I know I talked to Russ Williams, who usually joins us on here today, but he's in Detroit for work from that regards. But he was saying there's going to be a lot of data coming out this week that's going to kind of set the tone on what rates are going to do. Probably for the remainder of this month. The Fed Reserve's talking. You got retail data and things of that sort that's coming out. So that's something we'll probably touch on more next week if Russ is able to join us and kind of go over what kind of the big picture of what rates are doing. So let's jump in and see what the 30,000 foot view is going on for the Omaha metro area here. Just a second, let me share the screen so it pulls up here for you. So 30,000 foot view. So as I've said, probably over the last year, this is a good indicator. This is like a 30,000 foot view. These numbers don't change a whole lot. That slide I showed before where you see 100 new contracts written, we don't necessarily see that much in here. This is just kind of a big overview, but we have just over 3,000 homes in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS, 1,783 homes in the Douglas-Sarpy County. We've been hovering around that 1,700, 1,800 number probably for the last month or two. Our existing homes has gone down. from week to week. We're seeing those existing homes going off the market. And what's keeping that number at that 1,700 is a new construction. Because right now builders are, if they want spec homes, ready for the spring market, they're putting the foundations in the ground now so they can be in drywall. They can be, get almost finished, come that spring market, and they can get those spec homes sold. So that's what we're seeing is that's keeping our numbers up, but we're also seeing our existing homes that are selling now that rates are dropping a little bit. And it's bumped up our, and those new constructions are bumping up our months of inventory, about 4 months of inventory right now. So we're getting more into a neutral market out there. So, and then the average sold price is at 344. So that's up 7.8% from this time last year. So as you're seeing prices increase. So I guess kind of thinking of the big picture type of it. So as we start to see potential interest rates coming down a little bit, we're going to see that buyer activity pick up, which in turn supply and demand as we don't necessarily have as many houses, to cover that supply, that's where prices potentially could be going up. And one of the agents that was in our mastermind, she just did an open house last Friday. For her, she had like 30 couples through I think it was under 400,000 in the Papillion area. So there are buyers out there, from a seller perspective. Well, it's a holiday season. It's going to be a little bit slower. Yes. But you have serious buyers out there that, if you're having 30 couples show up, at an open house on a Friday night, those buyers are obviously serious buyers ready to rock and roll in that regard. So market's still very strong in that regard. So, but yeah, we'd love to help you. If you have any questions, give me a holler down here, 402-672-7670, or shoot me an email. Any of our social media platforms, chat with us or DM us or whatever. But appreciate you. My name is Mark Wehner II with Champions Real Estate Team, and have a great rest of the week. Supposed to be a nice one out there. So great weekend to get out and look at some homes. So give us a holler and we will talk to you soon. Take care.